We're living in a culture and a society of men without chests. What C.S. Lewis couldn't have predicted when he published that book in 1945 was that we would have a society of women without chests, quite literally, which is shocking and sobering to think about. And he writes this book in 1945, and the entire premise of the book is that the head rules the belly through the chest. So the head is the intellect. It's what separates us from the animals, okay? The belly is the raw animalistic appetite. Feed me, right? Drugs, sex, alcohol, media, just feed me pleasure now. So the chest is virtue, honor, and morality. So the intellect rules the animal through honor. So what are men without chests? If you remove the chest, then the intellect rules over the animal with nothing to temper it in between. And are human beings really good at coming up with intellectual justifications to justify our urges? That explains like every decision to sin since Eden. But I can rationalize it. But. It's men without chests. So C.S. Lewis says, such is the tragicomedy of our position, we continue to clamor for those very things we are rendering impossible. In a sort of ghastly simplicity, we remove the organ and demand the function. We make men without chests and expect of them virtue and enterprise. We laugh at honor and are shocked to find traitors in our midst. We castrate and bid the geldings be fruitful. So what does a young person do in a culture of men without chests? Find your chest. Go dig up your testicles in the backyard, find them, learn how to be a man again who's gonna stand and fulfill your role and duty as a protector and provider. Stop waiting for the mama bears at school board meetings to go do the job that is yours first and foremost as the protector and provider. So what would be my word to young people, especially young men? Pray to God for strength and begin to exercise your moral muscles. I love what Allie Beth said. Don't wait until you feel like you have all the right answers or you've read enough books by Francis Schaeffer and Kirk Cameron and Allie Beth Stuckey and Jack Hibbs and Gary Hamrick and Alan Jackson and Nancy Pearcey. Don't wait until you feel like you're a Christian worldview theologian and thinker. Just speak. Open your mouth. Yes, study. Yes, research. Be a son of Issachar. But don't wait until you feel like you have all of the knowledge to appropriately articulate and expose this culture of death. Just start speaking. Because if you don't, and you remain silent until you feel like you're prepared, you will eventually become a spiritually blob degenerate of a couch potato who's only good for orthodoxy and not orthopraxy, who condemns the culture of death but doesn't do anything to create a culture of life. And this is why in the Screwtape letters, Screwtapes writes to his junior demon Wormwood, and he says, as the humans have said, active habits are strengthened by repetition, but passive ones are weakened. The longer he, the Christian, feels without acting, the less he will be able ever to act. So in the long run, the less he will be able to feel at all. In other words, the longer you feel all the right things, but you never speak and you never act, eventually you never will act at all. And if you remain in that position for a long time, you won't even feel anymore. Your heart will no longer break for what breaks your Lord's heart. So as G.K. Chesterton said, unless a man becomes the enemy of evil, he will not even become its slave, but rather its champion. The longer you remain apathetic and silent, you will eventually turn into the advocate for the very evil that you've been rhetorically opposing with your words. Act, speak, find your chest, find your moral muscle, because moral atrophy, like physical atrophy, occurs through not using it. Speak the truth in love. Leave the results to God.
If you out-preach the preacher,